and welcome to section 4 of Unit 3 of International Procurement. Today we'll be looking at solicitation. At the end of this section, you should be able to explain the meaning of solicitation in procurement, understand the different types of competition, understand the preparation and issuance of solicitation documents. Let's go straight to the meaning of solicitation. So some of the tasks involved in procurement include developing standards of quality, financing, purchasing, negotiating pricing, buying goods, inventory control, disposal of waste products like packaging. In the overall supply chain process, procurement activities does not stop once your company has possession of the goods, but the process continues to manage of the contracts and contractual relationship with suppliers. So procurement is used to ensure the buyer receives goods, services, or works at the best possible price when aspects such as quality, quantity, time, and location are compared. So let's look at some solicitation methods. So the selection of the appropriate method is determined by the expected cost of the procurement action. So there are two main solicitation methods. The first one is the request for quotation or the RFQ, and then the second one is the invitation to bid and request for proposal. Request for quotation are mostly used in lower dollar value or low value purchases and well-defined products and services. So as the name suggests, this involves requesting a price for the supplier of a basic standard goods. So for example, it is mostly used for low value items. So if it is, for example, chairs or for papers we want, then suppliers who have been pre-qualified may want to send in their quotation by quoting prices of how much these items will need cost for the procurement entity to grant them the contract, and hence purchases will be made. So the RFQ is used by all organizations for procurement up to the financial threshold of 20,000 and 30,000 US dollars. So in this case we use the dollar in this case, as per the book. And then we come to the invitation to bid or request for proposal. So unlike the request for quotation where suppliers only request for, suppliers give requests, or the buying organization requests for suppliers to quote their prices. For invitation to bid or request for proposals, there's also the need for suppliers to send in pricing, or send in the how much an item may cost. But then for request for proposal, it is mostly used for high value items or items that are very expensive or strategic items of the organizations. So in the invitation to bid and request for proposal are almost the same in terms of, so they are mostly the same. So for invitation to bid, you are required to send in your bids, and later when the contract is given to you, you provide the item. But for a request for proposal, you send in a proposal of that item in question, or that you send in a proposal of the item with the price, supposed price, and then or budget. Then you are given the contract for the provision. So they are all formal methods of soliciting competition, and it can be used for procurement of any value whatsoever. So for invitation to bid and request for proposal, they are mostly used in high value or any form of value of procurement. But note that request for quotation is used for low value products. So both involve the submission of sealed, secure submission due by a publicly announced deadline. So basically, they both are solicitation competition methods that can that seeks to eliminate fraud and corruption. Again, both involves in the submission of sealed, secured submissions due by a publicly announced deadline. That's to say that both have deadlines to submit, and then it should be in sealed form. And then they both aim for contractual agreements between buyer and supplier. That's also another similarity. And then again, they both require that they contain a draft or sample contract in the solicitation document as well as the solicitation provision. Selecting the type of competition. In addition to selecting the solicitation method to be used or described above as we've already done, selecting the type of competition for a procurement activity is also an important step. So it depends on the value of the procurement, as we mentioned that for lower value items, we may want to use RFQ, request for quotation, and for any other value, we may want to use request for proposal or request for or the invitation to bid or the ITB. So depending on the value of procurement, the market conditions as well as knowledge of the market, various types of the competition can be used. So the different types of competitions are discussed. So we have the open international competition and then the limited international competition. The open international competition intends to provide all potential suppliers eligible or qualified to tender in their documents. So here, all it is open to all or open to all potential suppliers so long as you meet the specification criteria stated um, in the invitation to tender, then you are good to go. Open international tender is the preferred mode for conducting competitive tender processes in some organizations find that the need for openness and transparency. So, for example, World Bank or other, for example, in Ghana, all public procurement contracts are supposed to be done with an open international competition, unless otherwise stated. Yes. So, this is the two types of competition, selection type of competition, the open international competition, and then we come to the limited international competition. So this allows only participants of selected suppliers to be, eligible for the contract or suppliers in the solicitation. So here we see that it restricts competition to a short list of suppliers selected in a non-discriminatory manner. So we could say that okay, for this contract, through a non-discriminatory manner, we are choosing only women for this contract. So that is the limited international competition one. So we come to preparation of insurance and solicitation documents. So solicitation documents are the documents that are used to request for potential suppliers to offer a quotation, bid, or proposal to provide the required goods, services, or work. But procurement officers also have the responsibility of ensuring that these solicitation documents create a level playing field for all potential suppliers. So these solicitation documents should provide the same information for supplier A, B, C, and all other eligible suppliers. So in the same time, is to prepare offers measurable evaluation criteria that will allow suppliers the same chance to receive the contract award. So basically, solicitation documents should under no circumstance favor a supplier to the other. So the content of solicitation documents varies from one organization to another and according to the procurement method and complexity of the requirements. So the document structure, however, generally includes some of all the following items. So even though It is not exhaustive to this list. Generally speaking, a solicitation document should have the instruction to the supplier, should have the schedule of requirements, should have technical descriptions, should have the terms and conditions of the contract, and again should have the sample contract and other forms. So in this section, we looked at the meaning of solicitation in procurement. Again, we looked at different types of competition. And finally, we looked at preparation and issuance of solicitation documents. Thank you.